Hey guys, this is just one guy and I'm back here with another video. Now once again I'm talking about Unity's new pricing change and they made an announcement. The funny thing is, as soon as I uploaded my last video, they made the announcement. So I'm here to update the video and basically share my thoughts and feelings on what they announced. Now for the most part I am happy. They've more or less done away with the install fee, which is funny because now they're calling it the unique initial engagement fee or whatever, revenue share, which is basically the same thing, but now they cap the limit at 2.5 of your revenue. So that's the max amount they'll take, whichever is lower, just a straight up 2.5% of your revenue, or the fee calculated based on the unique initial engagements, basically the installs. Whichever is lower, they're going to take, and it's not going to apply to any game anybody that's making less than $200,000. So more or less, they're getting rid of the fee, which I'm pretty good with. They need to get rid of that install thing completely because it's just going to give them trouble. Because right here they're saying how they're going to track it and everything like that, and they basically saying it's self-reporting, which that's just going to lead to trouble. Just make it a 2.5% revenue fee. It would be easier if they just did it that like that. Oh, excuse me. It'll be a lot simpler to track, simpler to deal with, and simpler to calculate. I don't know why they even bothered with that whole install thing. It just seemed needlessly complicated, and it's going to be a lot of work on their end to make sure it works correctly. Now they also made a bunch of other changes. You no longer have to use the Unity splash screen, which is actually a good thing for them, because a lot of games that actually was forced to use this were a lot of cheap games, which was really giving Unity a bad name. I see a lot of Unity games made, and when they had the made with Unity logo, it's because they were making under $200,000 and they didn't have Unity Pro, and basically they didn't know how to program, so they made the whole engine look bad, because you can get something pretty workable in Unity just by doing basically nothing. So other engines didn't really have that problem because they didn't force you to use the made with Unity logo. But when people had the made with Unity logo and it was on bad games, it just made the whole engine look a lot worse than what it was. Now this is right here just explaining the new revenue fee. Another thing they did that I like, they said it's not applying to previously existing games. So if you're using the long-term version right now, these are the long-standing versions that it'll apply to. That it won't apply to. Yeah, and they said it will apply to games using the long-standing version in 2024, which I think is pretty good. And you also have to meet the requirements. So they basically removed it so it won't apply to past games that are already made or games that are already in development. Excuse me. The next change that I don't see people talking about is now you got to connect online to use Unity. So you have to connect every 30 days to use Unity, and if you don't, you won't be able to do it. I think that's a bad change, but that's probably has something to do with that install fee or revenue fee or whatever. I don't think that's a good change, because what if you're disconnected from the internet or using a laptop or something to that manner? That's just a straight up loss. I think this was already in the program from what I remember, because I do remember that at some point in time you at least had to connect to the internet to set up Unity. I don't know if that was still a thing, but I definitely remember that being a thing when they switched to Unity 5 and you had to connect to the internet to set up the initial account. I don't know if you had to keep connecting to it, but I definitely remember this already being a thing. And now they're just outright saying you have to connect every 30 days, and if you don't, you won't be able to use Unity. I don't think that's a good thing. And I think that's going to actively harm the product. But all in all, I think these changes are fair. I think they should have did it this way in the beginning. I still think they should get rid of the install fee and just straight make it a revenue fee, because that would just be a lot better and a lot simpler. But they choosing what they want to do, and I believe they just don't want to get rid of that install fee to really target the mobile games. I don't think that's going to work, because just for a bunch of reasons. It's going to be hard to track. It's going to be a lot to deal with. What do you count as a unique initial engagement? Like, are they going to be, when you put your game out, are they going to be tracking people's devices? Because that's what it seemed like they're going to be doing. That's the only way I could see it working, because you would have to install the program onto your device, and then it would have to put some type of spyware to register something that's unique to your device, which I believe Unity kind of already does with their services program, as I talked about in my last video, which is basically what they're going to use to track the installs. But now you have the developer and Unity keeping track of all that data, which, I don't know, they're just setting themselves up to be in conflict with a bunch of laws. I can't imagine tracking unique installs or unique player data to some extent would be legal in the US and in EU. How would that even work with something like children or something like that, and the laws that they have to protect them? Because you can't track children. That's always been a thing on YouTube. Even that's why you have to mark your videos on YouTube not okay for children or okay for children, because if you mark it not okay for children, it doesn't track any data. So if a child installs your game, does it track the unique data of that person, of that child's computer? I don't know. The install thing, just tracking it, just seems like a bad idea, and I don't think Unity should be doing that. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know. Excuse me, got a bit of a cold. I don't know, but that whole thing seems to be bad, but it's not really going to affect me too much. I'm just going to keep continuing on with my projects, because I'm already in too deep, basically. I'm starting to learn to use Unreal and Godot, and I'm going to start uploading videos on that, because I feel Unreal could really do with a lot more explanation on the internet, where Unreal is very complicated to use, but one of the things they could use is just a lot more videos like Unity has on the internet, where it just directly tells you how to use it. Godot too. I haven't really started using Godot yet. I've learned how the structure works and everything like that, but I really haven't started using the game engine, because I'm trying to learn Unreal. But I'm going to start uploading videos and tutorials on that, and basically showing how I got to learn everything. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.